everybody, my name's Cameron and I'm here to talk to you today about something that's really important to me. This is going to be my informative speech for my SpeechComm 315 class, and it's going to be on something that relates to my life personally. Now, picture this. You get off a bus, it's an old 1950s era bus, and you step out into the desert that you've never been to before. It's a third world country, you don't speak the language, you don't know the culture, the water is totally undrinkable unless you boil it. You have to carry it at least 500 yards, probably more, to your home. You have no friends, no community basis. You have nothing that reminds you of home at all. Why would you do that? Why would you go halfway around the world to enter into a society that you have nothing in common with? Now, this may seem a little strange to some people, but over the last 5 decades, almost 200,000 volunteers have done just this. Since the installation of the Peace Corps by John F. Kennedy in 1961, it's helped to serve nearly 150 different developing countries. Now, this speech is just basically an overview of the Peace Corps as an organization. There's going to be a brief section on the history. There's going to be a second part where I tell a little bit about a story for the Peace Corps for a specific volunteer, and then basically, I'm gonna tie in some facts at the end, and then we're gonna wrap it up. And it's only gonna be a few minutes. But hopefully, at the end of it, you'll know a little bit more about the political and moral importance of an organization that serves people like this. So, there was a time in 1960, this is where the Peace Corps has its roots, when then Senator John Kennedy challenged University of Michigan students to go around the world, halfway around it, to a third world or developing country, and devote their time and energy to live with the people and hopefully improve living conditions. This is where the Peace Corps really got its start, because as you know, he became president and then founded it in 1961. There were 3 basic tenets that this organization was based on. The first one was the idea that you could help the people of interested countries in meeting the need for trained men and women. The second is helping promote a better understanding of Americans on the part of the peoples that are going to be served. And the third one is helping promote a better understanding of the people served on the part of Americans. So there was this hope of having a threefold change where if you sent people, your citizens around the world, not only would they help improve the image of your country in the eyes of others, but they would help improve their country for themselves too. Now, the first time I really thought about the Peace Corps, I was at Beaver Street Brewery in the middle of a dreary winter in Flagstaff. And I sat down with one of my mom's friends, Carrie Abdella, who had served in Nepal for 2 years. Now, I had no idea upon going into the restaurant that I really would ultimately decide to join the Peace Corps, but that's what happened. And I'm going to tell you a few different things about her story and how it affected me. You see, when she graduated from college, she didn't really know where she wanted to go or what she wanted to do, but she had always kind of wanted to do the Peace Corps. And so with a little push, she joined and ended up going to Nepal. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with Nepal, it's the highest country in the entire world. It's cold, and it's really hard to grow food. So life in Nepal is very challenging. But the challenge was something that she rose to. And I think that it's significant to say that by the time she left, she had made a new home for herself. I think that's one of the most important things about challenging yourself and serving in another country. You see, by the time she left, she even missed yak butter and things that were made with yak milk. She could not even think about drinking that when she arrived 2 years before, but it changed her. And so, because we're running a little short on time, I'm going to skip to the portion on fats. You see, over the last 5 decades, nearly 200,000 people have served in the Peace Corps, and they've served in nearly 150 host countries. I'm going to hand you out this little quick fact sheet, if you can pass that around. And if you gaze over on the right-hand column, you might notice a few important and significant names of people who have served in the Peace Corps. The one that caught my eye was Chris Matthews from Hardball. But there are also CEOs, authors, doctors, nurses, hundreds of very important people have come out of the Peace Corps. Politicians should, as well, have served in the Peace Corps. I don't have it with me, but there is a quotation that I liked that John Kennedy said on the day he founded the Peace Corps. And it basically boiled down to that in the spirit of freedom and peace, this was established. And I think that it says a lot about our country and our aspirations to spread not only hope and democracy around the world, but fairness and equality and all the principles that we have been so lucky to have in our country. Another important thing to note is if you take a look at the bottom of that, the fiscal budget for the Peace Corps for the upcoming year is only $330 million. And it seems pretty big, but if you think about the positive impact that this has on people's lives around the world and compare it to the amount of money that we've spent on war in the past 10 years, it's incredibly small. So I'd just like to point that out because Peace Corps volunteers serve on the ground to help stop epidemics, to work with bettering the lives for children and women around the world. I recently read a statistic from the UN Council on AIDS that in some parts of sub-Saharan Africa, 45 to 50% of women ages 19 to 49 have been infected with HIV. That is an incredibly depressing statistic, but it's turning with the help of organizations like the Peace Corps. I don't know for a fact where I'll be serving in the Peace Corps, but I know that I'm going to serve, and I know that that I want you guys, after this speech is over, to know the following things. That today we've learned how stories can help spread the message of the Peace Corps, and how the facts of the Peace Corps make it an important thing. If you have any other questions, you can go to www.peacecorps.gov, or you can ask me after the speech is over. Thank you for your time.